I'm just worried that the guys in Tembisa are going to realize we're not releasing their payments and know that we're onto something. Our lives could be in danger. Those were some of the last words of Babita Deokaran, and they proved prophetic, didn't they? On a cool morning as winter was ebbing, she was shot in her driveway as she returned from dropping her daughter off at school. They pumped 9 bullets into her body and murdered her in cold blood. That was exactly 3 years ago. She blew the whistle on massive corruption in our healthcare system. She exposed nearly 850 million rand in fraud. And for her bravery, she paid the ultimate price. Babita was silenced before she could see justice. But did her killers win? Was it all in vain? We are joined now by the head of the Special Investigating Unit, Advocate Andy Mothiba, who is really essentially looking at the money trail when it comes to all of this. Appreciate your time as always. 3 years later on, we know some of the triggermen are behind bars, but the people who benefited from this extensive corruption seem to have got away with it.
Not at all. Bongani, thank you very much for the opportunity. I should just indicate that we have now uncovered that the corruption at Tembisa Hospital exceeds 2 billion rands, which we have uncovered, and we have uncovered that that is siphoned through. We've uncovered about 3 syndicates there. As you would know, that we conducting these investigations under Proclamations 136 of 2023. The procurement has, the investigation has already made findings, which I will briefly come to. And really, thanks to Babita Deokaran, who was the Chief Director of Financial Accounting, who identified already in 2021 that there were more than 200 purchase orders that were suspicious. And that led us to this investigation. May her soul rest in peace indeed. As you know, that this today marks the anniversary of her passing, and we will be participating in that anniversary just so that the public can understand that her efforts were not in vain. We have now uncovered that her evidence assisted us to come up with identification of instances where the officials there were circumventing procurement, abusing quotation system. You would know that there is a policy that would say if the procurement is above 500,000, go out on open tender. But what they did was to just use that below 500,000 matters, in over almost 5,000 purchase orders to the tune of, as I say, more than 2 billion. And this they siphoned through various syndicates and service providers, which we will be going after immediately. In this week, the investigating team gave me an update about 5,314 purchase orders were identified, relating to more than 170 service providers, Bongani. So what are we going to do? We are going to immediately now go to the special tribunal and go after these service providers to make sure that we recover the money. We have traced, as you correctly said, we have traced the monies. We know what these syndicates and individuals have done with these monies. They've purchased luxury assets, houses, cars, which we will be going after as of immediate. And as you would know, that and we're really pleased to see that the government of Gauteng government has already acted on some of the officials. There were disciplinary actions against 5 Tembisa hospital employees, and quite senior. As you would know, that the CEO was also in the process of facing disciplinary action. He was also suspended. Unfortunately, he has now since passed on. But the others that are left, they will face consequences, both from employee relations perspective as misconduct. They will be pursued criminally. There are criminal referrals that we'll be doing, and we'll work with NPA. As you know, that the GPCI, the Hawks, already also is involved there, and we will make sure that we support them so that all of these people are prosecuted, all the money is returned, and that everyone is held to account. With regard to the criminal investigation of the people who shot at Babita, and I'm sure your probably colleagues would have spoken to the Hawks, but I have the information that the investigation is at an advanced stage. You might see that the publications today, including in News 24, that's giving that kind of an update.
All right. Advocate Andy Mothiba is the head of the Special Investigating Unit. He's tracing the money, as he says, and he says those behind some of this alleged corruption will soon be made to answer some questions. Somebody who's been tracking all of this is activist John Clarke, who joins us now. Listening to Advocate Mothiba, John, you've traced all of this. You've looked at some of the investigations and the information that has emerged. Are you satisfied that we're any closer to bringing those who not only, of course, stole from the public purse, but those, of course, who killed Babita? Are we any closer to bringing them to justice?
Well, social workers are meant to be optimists, are meant to kind of look for the positives, and I want to say thank you very much to Andrew Mothiba. What I missed from his, confident presentation was an acknowledgement that it was the media that have actually held their feet to the fire of the authorities. I've just been rereading Mandy Wiener's book, and I want to give it a shout out to the media, because we would never be where we are today if it wasn't for people like Mandy, yourself, and so many other journalists who basically made sure. Jeff Wicks, he was able to do that probing an investigation. If you read the chapter that she's added in an updated edition about Babita, because when she first published it, Babita was still alive, and we didn't know about it. Now we do, and Mandy's done an excellent job. But in that chapter, she talks about how Jeff Wicks, without the statutory authorities and the powers of search and seizure and the powers and all the rest, was able to find out and keep going with what Babita did. And I really do believe that Mr. Mothiba and the SIU need to say thank you to the media for actually making sure that we at least have this. And that's at least one thing we can celebrate in South Africa, is the fact that we have a Bill of Rights, the freedom of expression. Having said that, Bongani, I do believe that that doesn't mean that we can be complacent for those of us in civil society. Because those who retaliate against whistleblowers know how important the media is, and are very adept and clever in being able to try and capture media narratives to serve the interests of those who are basically guilty and who are retaliating. Through my work with whistleblowers, having been involved as an activist social worker for many years, having survived a defamation slap suit from my work in the Kolobeni mining conflict, I've now got 2 more defamation suits against me because of supporting, through my YouTube channel, whistleblowers to tell their stories. So now I laugh about it because I know I've got pro bono lawyers, and we've done our homework. We know that we didn't say anything that wasn't in the public interest and that wasn't true. But the law, and that's another thing, lawyers need to up their game in terms of making sure they don't allow themselves to be used in the abusive legal process with people with ulterior and motives who want to simply just stifle and basically chill the confidence of people who have truth.
It certainly is ongoing work. I appreciate your reflections. John Clarke is a social worker, but also a writer and justice monitor, an advocate for whistleblowers.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.